Hey y'all.
Hey y'all.
Welcome to Enjoy the Chaos.
We are back.
We are.
Another week.
Hope you enjoyed our episode 10 recap.
Oh, that was so fun.
That was a fun one.
I love that.
That was a good one.
And we did celebrate.
We did.
Yes, we celebrated 10 episodes.
As we should. As we should. So
That's
here we are
right.
back again for another
Boop,
week.
boop.
New cocktail.
That's right.
Today we are having the caramel apple mule.
I love it.
And it is very good. I'm not a mule fan. Except for in the holidays.
Yes.
Because I like a flavored vodka to kind of cut the taste of the ginger beer.
That's right.
Not a huge ginger beer fan. So I've had a Christmas mule
Yeah.
that we'll share. But then searching for recipes, ran across the caramel apple mule on Pinterest. And so this is salted caramel vodka,
Okay.
apple cider, ginger beer. So easy.
So easy.
And then you garnish it with some Honeycrisp apple slices, which I'm just going to go ahead and drop that in there because it keeps hitting me in the face.
Yeah. It's so, well, I know we're not supposed to say that yet.
Right, but it is good. And the recipe called to put caramel sauce in the bottom of the glass, actually, but I think that the salted caramel vodka has enough caramel flavor for me.
Yeah.
But if you wanted it to be a little bit sweeter, you could add that caramel sauce.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it's just really, it's good.
To me, it's another fall in a cup.
Yes, it's very good.
We had a lot of feedback from our last apple cider cocktail.
Yes, the spiked apple cider.
We have got a lot of feedback about how great it was.
Yes.
And so this is another you will want to try. I think the last one, you know, we love our bubbles. We have a little Prosecco in the top of that. It was fun. This one has really good flavor too.
Yeah.
So I can taste you will want to try this.
I can taste the salted caramel taste more in this one
too. Yes.
than I did the last one, the caramel apple martini.
Yes.
I think that apple pie Bailey's kind of cut that a little bit, but that's really forward in this, and I really like it.
Yeah.
So we'll rate it at the end.
That's great.
But I think you probably can already tell how we feel about it.
You already know.
But before we dive into our topic, I want to talk about two things
I
have started this since the last episode. One is a really bizarre beauty trick.
Ooh.
And the other is something that I've been doing parenting wise.
Mm.
So I think I shared on all the things that Abby and I discovered that the dry shampoo was really drying my hair out, making it break. And I have been concerned with, I feel like in my mind, my hair is thinning up here at the top, which is where that gets that first spray, that first blast of the dry shampoo. So I've really cut back, maybe only once a week, to dry shampoo. But now I don't have to use it at all anymore.
Wow.
Scrolling through Reels, I ran across a girl that was doing this tutorial, or talking about this. It wasn't really a tutorial, but talking about dry shampoo and how it makes your hair fall out. Because dry shampoo has propane in it.
Really?
And I looked on the back of the can, and it really did.
Shut the front door.
But then I Googled if propane makes your hair fall out, and it says no. But I'd already gotten so far down the rabbit hole with this and had convinced myself that really was validating why I felt like my hair was thinning.
That's right.
But she uses cornstarch.
Wait, what?
That's all she puts on her hair.
It's cornstarch?
Cornstarch.
And how do you do that?
So I was like, okay, this is weird. I'm going to do it on a day where I know I'm not leaving the house in case I put it on my head and all of a sudden look like a bucket of gravy. Because you use cornstarch. It's the only reason why I have it.
Thickening agent.
Yes, it's the only reason why I have it is to use it in gravies and slurries.
That's right.
So I got a loose powder brush.
Okay.
Dipped it in the top of the cornstarch container, and then just literally dabbed it on my roots.
Sarah,
and
are you serious?
It's like, this is a cornstarch day.
What?
Yes. So now I'm not using dry shampoo at all anymore.
Okay. So how long has it been since you've washed your hair?
So let's see. Well,
I love that we have to count back.
This week is a little different because we did the office Christmas pictures on Wednesday. So I did wash on Wednesday.
Yes. Okay.
But I could have not.
Okay.
I could have not. I just needed the volume for the picture. So I could have even gone Wednesday. So then it would have been Tuesday.
Oh my God.
Which Tuesday was a fatal error to wash my hair, knowing I was going to have to do it Wednesday. Back-to-back hair wash days are the worst.
Ooh, that is
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. So that was one thing.
I hate
so
hair wash day.
You do have a little bit goes a long way. So you just need a little bitty bit on that brush.
I love this.
And then you just rub it in really good to get it to go away. But it has been a really good trick.
Cornstarch.
Cornstarch.
Oh my
just
gosh.
plain
We're
old
putting
cornstarch.
it out there.
Yep.
for everybody to hear about this cornstarch on hair.
Yes.
Instead of dry shampoo.
Yes.
I love that. You
have to try it and let me know if it works for you too.
I will. Yes, I will, Sarah.
And then the other thing that I've started doing, and I'm actually, and this one, on one side of the coin, it makes me sound like a bad parent that I even had to implement this. And then on the other side of the coin, I feel like it's worked really well this past week. But, we're in a technology world. Mm-hmm. We're on our cell phones all the time. And for work, we stay connected all the time. Yeah, we have a group chat for work. So it's not like I'm just on the phone all the time around Barrett, just on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. Sometimes it is, we're talking about things about in the office, whether it happens at 7:30 at night or whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
But I have felt lately like I'm doing that a little more than I probably should.
Okay.
Or we get home and we immediately go into the homework, dinner, the bath. There's no time. There's no quality time.
Yes.
And he is in a phase right now where he's little and he wants to have that time with me.
He craves that.
And I've not always been the best about carving that out.
Yeah.
So a little over a week ago, we started doing what Barrett has coined. I didn't call it this, but he has coined Mommy Minutes. And so every day when we get home, for 30 minutes, we set a timer. We set the Alexa timer. And for 30 minutes, we don't turn on the television. I put my phone on top of the refrigerator. I take off my Apple Watch. And we just do whatever he wants to do for 30 minutes. Whether it's we've colored, we've gone for a walk in the neighborhood, we've gone upstairs and played with his goo-jitsus, which are just my least favorite thing on the planet. So we just do what he gets to pick, whatever it is. Last night we went to the pond and went fishing, so we had to let Daddy come because I'm not going to touch fish. So Daddy got to encourage.
You don't bait the hook, Sarah?
I do bait the hook because we just use bread. But that fish be living on that hook forever if it's up to me to take it off. So, but it has worked out so well. And I again on the bad parent thing is that people say, "Oh my gosh, you have to consciously disconnect from your technology for 30 minutes," but it's more intentional time with him.
Right.
Not necessarily disconnecting from technology, but more about that intentional time. Makes him feel important.
I love that.
Makes him feel like I'm present.
Yes.
Which is hard, especially during the week. And that's why it's only 30 minutes. And it's not the only 30 minutes of the day that I spend with him or to pay any attention to him, obviously. But it's without television. It's without, any interruptions. And I don't pick it. It's whatever he wants to do.
I love that.
So it's worked out really well. Aww. And he looks forward to it. We get in the car. I've thought about all day what I'm going to do with my Mommy Minutes.
Oh, my God, Sarah. That's
and he understands that it's not every day.
Yes.
Because, last night I picked him up late. We had to go get stuff for Halloween treat bags or whatever. Right. So we didn't get to do it last night, except for we did do the fishing for just a few minutes. When we got back home, we have a little stock pond in our neighborhood. So it wasn't the full 30 minutes, but it was some sort of time.
That's right.
And it really has... It's improved his attitude because he feels seen, I guess. He has a minute in the day where we're not rushed. He doesn't feel overlooked because he's having that intentional time. And so it's worked out really well.
Oh my gosh.
So I encourage you to try to carve out some.
To throw out a challenge.
Okay. Because we got the Date Our Spouse challenge.
That's right. The 222 challenge, and we are both trying on that. This day and time, it's hard. Mm-hmm. It's not always easy to carve out time for your spouse or even your children. And so I think this is great, Sarah, that you made that. And then also be saying it's Mommy Minutes.
Right.
Wow. That is so good. I'm going to take that back to my family and see how that goes. I think that's great. Some people out there will probably say, oh my gosh, it's just 30 minutes. If you can spend 30 minutes of quality time, they will remember that for a long time.
Right.
Just like he now is anticipating those 30 minutes.
Right.
It's not really the 30 minutes. It's that time with you.
Right.
And so, I get cold chills.
And again, it's not the only 30 minutes that he gets. Because even last night, he was like, I hate I don't get my Mommy Minutes. And I was like, but buddy, that's not the only time we're going to spend
That's right.
together. It just means today we don't have time to color or do the things.
That's right.
Because, I know there's people whose baseball season rolls around, we won't be able to do it every day.
Yes.
Or the hustle and bustle of the holidays and things like that. But I think making it a priority when you can
is
huge.
So good.
And even if you don't have 30 minutes, if you get home later, 15, 10, something, because he tells me about his day, because normally when we pick him up from school and we talk in the cars, what'd you do today? Nothing. But during this time when we're doing whatever, it's like, well, so-and-so did this today. We learned this dance and da-da-da-da-da. And he's taught me the Ghostbusters dance. And it's really been, I have enjoyed it more than I anticipated.
Yes.
So it's been really good. So even whatever you feel like you can carve out, whether it's 10 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, Supermom hour, do it. Because, and that's what made me think about it, that we're making this intent to spend time with our spouses.
That's right.
So I need to be intentional about the time with Barrett.
Yes.
Too, even though he gets more of my time, there's a difference in giving him your time and your energy.
Oh,
I think.
Say it again. Yeah. Yes, that's so true.
To be present.
That's right.
And,
and for them to see you putting your technology away.
Yes.
They are growing up now in a world that is all they know.
Right.
All they know is technology, which is great, right? There are so many pros to that. But that communication we've talked about already, I'm sure I'll probably touch on it again, but that communication skill for our young children is going to be difficult because they're so glued to technology.
Right.
So them seeing you put it away and then having a moment with them creates that it's okay to do that.
Yeah.
And I love that. So I love it. I have cold chills. Like if y'all could see, you can't right now.
Through your puffy shirt?
Through my puffy shirt. There's so many cold chills. I think that's great.
So so we have our spouse challenge and our children challenge.
So let us know how you are doing.
Right.
I absolutely need to work on also the spouse challenge because we did the date right, but then we need to continue. I think in my mind we do have that trip right
because it's supposed to be every 2 weeks though for the date.
Right. So technically it's this.
You're due for another date
right now.
Yes.
And that we don't really. Our oldest is gone right now. And so maybe we'll get to that. But we have our youngest, you know, and it's a time that we can spend some time with her too.
Right.
Because that doesn't always happen.
One-on-one time. Right.
No, we're terrible about that.
Right.
Like either with Maddie or with Ada Britt.
Right.
And so we definitely need to work on that. But I am absolutely encouraged about the Mom Minutes.
Good.
That's so good.
So we got to have a date night. We went to the Tracy Lawrence concert.
I know. Tell me all about
it. Which, I mean, Tracy, come on now. You know your audience. We old. He didn't start playing until after 9 o'clock.
Wait, did he have somebody?
There was an opener. Well, maybe it was like 8:30. So there was an opener. So we thought that the opener.
Tracy.
I thought Tracy was coming on at 7:30.
Okay.
And then the opener would have started at 5:30 because all the events and all the stuff started at 5:30, which we weren't trying to get down there at 5:30.
Yes.
But the opener came on at 7:30, and I guess he maybe played for about 30, 45 minutes, and then Tracy Lawrence came on, which I'm a huge 90s country person.
Yes.
I still listen to George Strait all the way here.
Yes.
It just. So it's very nostalgic. Like the whole time Gene is like sitting. So he says we can't count it as our date because he sat down the entire time and he was like, okay, I got,
is it time
he's like, I know that she's got 3 to 4 songs that she really wants to hear. And then I can bring up leaving. And we left a little early. But it was good. But it was nice because it was us. I mean, we went with friends.
Yeah.
But I did make him dance with me to a song.
That's right.
But we were without our kids, so we counted it as a date night.
I love that.
Yes. So,
so sweet.
But now we have to plan another one because you have to keep having them.
I think that is the point.
That's the point. You have to keep doing it.
The 2-2-2 challenge is that consistency.
Yes.
And really, even for Chad, it's hopefully eventually like looking forward to that moment.
Right.
Like, oh my gosh, we have a date night.
Right.
That's the goal is for Chad to be like, oh, it's date night.
And maybe plan it.
Instead of me being like, hey, we're going here.
Yeah. By the way, it's date night.
Just so you know, this is where we're headed. So anyway, so it's all about the intent, right? And being intentional.
And then next month we have our out of town date, which I'm so excited about.
I feel certain there'll be an episode about that.
Yes.
Because I think that'll be so much fun.
It will be. It will be a lot of fun.
You have a marathon, which we talked about last time. You have a marathon on the weekend.
Yes, but it'll be good.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. So I have lots of stuff to share after.
So back to kids. That's what we're talking about today. Is kids. Because you have 2 girls.
I have 2 girls. Yeah.
And I have 1 boy. So there's some differences in our parenting.
That's right.
100%. Or challenges that we face, I guess.
That's right. That's right. Probably our younger children. Your B is 8, right? Mm-hmm. And Ada Britt is 9. She'll be 10 in December. Aww. So probably that's about the same age group, pretty much. But Maddie is a whole nother. Maddie is 15. I know I've told y'all that many times, but it's just different parenting a teenager, especially looking at, like we talked about, communicating, like, how technology is, they're so glued to that technology and not really thinking about having to communicate to others. And I've said it before, but it's so true. I see her sometimes struggling on the communication. Yes. Now, I will say I have brought that up and she seems to be getting better. Now, since she's driving, so she does like order at the window, like in a drive-through. Like that was even a challenge for her.
And that's the thing. I didn't even know that.
Like she couldn't even, she'd be like, you order. I'm like, what? What do you mean I order? She doesn't know, prior to her driving, she didn't really realize how important it was to be able to communicate to others, because they're so glued to their device that's how they communicate.
But to get anxiety about saying, I want a number 1 no pickle sweet tea.
I never had that.
I cannot even imagine what that's like. But I have a friend who had a daughter that called her in the drive-through line and she's like, I've got anxiety about ordering my food. Gosh. I'm like, Food is one thing I never have anxiety about. Maybe that there's only going to be a salad available and no fried chicken. But
that's right, but not about ordering it.
Right.
That's so true. So I think about the parenting piece of that. Like, did I fail in that? Not recognizing it early. Now, because I have to, I know better for Ada Britt. Because
do you make her talk to people?
Yes, now it is. She has to do that. Now she is getting better, but that's just because, hey, you're ordering that,
right?
Or you're going to go into the place. Like Chad has sent her several times. I think even when we were in Athens, or maybe we were talking about in Athens. It wasn't in Athens, but hey, when we asked you to go in and say there's a party of 4. Put our name on the list and then come back out. Like her anxiety level is unbelievable. But again, I take it back to the technology. She's so used to, I can see her perfectly, very easily saying party of 4.
Open table.
Exactly. Open table is her thing.
Yeah.
But we don't live in that place. So it's like, you're going to have to go do that. So I do see her. And I'm afraid it's probably with every, child about that age, struggling with that communication and how to communicate to others.
Barrett has that. And Gene has always been adamant, and I didn't realize this was, maybe it doesn't have anything to do with this, but he looks at it from a different perspective. Yeah. And his thing is that you just can't, and this would be funny if you know Gene, what I'm about to say, is you can't be rude to anybody. And, he just comes off as this hard ass sometimes. But when he's here, when he's at the shop, I'm like, who is that guy? But he's like, as a small business owner, and if you're trying to be a part of your community and you're, trying to be a good person, you just can't be rude to people. And it's rude to not speak back when someone speaks to you. Amen. So he has always been big about that with Barrett since Barrett learned how to talk. Even if it was just like the waiter saying like, hey buddy, what do you want to drink? Like he has to order his own drink. Yeah. Or if someone speaks directly to him, like he gets in trouble if he doesn't say something back. Yes. Like at first I was like, ooh, don't talk to strangers, but talk to everybody.
Yes.
It's a little hard.
The balance. Yeah.
But
that's right.
Gene has always been big about that. But I think it will help him. But I notice that now, even as he's getting older and he's getting more aware of the volume of people that are talking to him, he kind of immediately like just shrinks up inside of himself. Yes. So we're trying to work on that with him too, that communication piece. Yeah. Even at 8 years old.
Man. I have to say, this morning, I had an epic mom fail. Aww. So last night, Ada Britt came to me, and so Maddie isn't no, she's not there yet, but she's headed to Indianapolis, and with my mother-in-law and her aunt, so Chad's sister, and she's so excited about the trip, but it's just Ada Britt now in the house. And so last night she came to me and said, Mom, I got this project. And I'm like, okay, when's it due? Tomorrow. I'm sorry, what?
Of course.
What is that? Like, what do you, I hate those. I'm like, oh my gosh. So it was for Beta Club. And so she's super excited to be in Beta Club. And so she's like, I got to make this drug-free poster. So we spent a lot of time with this poster, right? And so we make it. It's great. She goes to bed. So this morning we get up and I'm, of course, in a hurry. Shocker. And she has to be at school at 7:30. And I'm trying to head out the door. I have a coffee cup, right, that for some reason I decide not to get a coffee cup with a top on it. And
it's Friday. You don't have to do that on Friday.
No, I'm just
casual coffee.
I'm just running there and I'm running back, And so I'm headed out the door. I have her poster and she's like, Mommy, I'm spilling coffee all over. I drenched the poster that she worked so hard for her Beta Club project this morning, in which she was going to have to hold it up. So what was happening is she was holding up for all the students coming in because it's drug-free week or whatever. And so she's holding up for everybody to see. And so when I say ruined it, it is soaked with coffee.
So maybe the coffee stains are representative of what happens in your life if you do drugs.
I told her, well, this will wake people up. If they smell it.
It's all, you get all dark and wrinkly if you do drugs. Stay away from drugs. Drugs are bad.
Away. It was so cute, her little poster was. And I see her face immediately, she's starting to cry, but she's trying to hold it back because, she knows I didn't, this is how Ada Britt is. I not intentionally did it.
Right.
For anything in the world would I ruin that poster for her. But I see her face. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I put it on the counter and I'm trying to dry it off. And I do dry it off. But I'm like, okay, I have a wet head. So we're headed out with a wet head, hardly any makeup on. And I'm headed to the school. We talked through that. I'm like, are you okay? I'm so sorry. Blase, blase. And so we get to the school. And I know we're going to have to communicate to these teachers about what I did. Mom here. And so I walk her in. I'm like, okay, I'm walking her in with a wet head, no makeup. I have some leggings on and this big old fleecy thing on. And I'm like, they're probably going to be like, are you serious right now? But I walk up and Ada Britt's like, so my mom accidentally spilled coffee. This is her talking. My mom accidentally spilled coffee on my poster. And I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. Yes. And I'm like, yes, I did.
I said, validate that for you.
I have a picture of it before if you need to see it. But I thought about that communication, how she just voluntarily
But she may feel safe
that.
there.
Yes.
That's her place.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh. Okay, that was good. Thank you for taking that. That was something that I don't know Maddie, and it's probably because of my raising, her probably wouldn't have done,
right.
And so I go back to the car and I'm like, I probably embarrassed her more than ever, me coming out and with no makeup on, with wet head into her school with this wet poster of coffee scent. But anyway, so I did think about her communication and how, okay, I do know I have this opportunity now with Ada Britt to do things a little differently. Maddie is in a state now where we can help her and try to mold her.
Right.
But, she's in a place where she's just going to have to do it a few times and learn, And so I think for me and my girls, I've had to learn. I think the earlier we can do that with our children, the easier it will be as they grow. Not that they're going to be perfect by any means, but we're going to learn some unfortunate things that at the end we'll be like, oh my gosh, why didn't we teach them that? But that's just parenting.
We're getting into that phase of life where kids are mean.
Oh, yes.
Or they're trying to figure out how to be mean.
Yeah, 100%.
And I'm struggling with this as a parent.
Yeah.
Because my initial reaction is, okay, you tell me what they said, and I'll tell you what to say back. Because
I'm going to fix that for you.
Right. So, the other day, a little kid wrote him a note.
Yeah.
Because Barrett transposes his B's and his D's still. So a little kid wrote him a note and told him he was dumb, and this is what it looks like for your B to be right and your D to be right. And I was like, well, what did you say back? And he was like, well, I didn't say anything back. He's like, he sits at my desk and whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, let me write him a note. Your mother will send a note.
Let mommy fix this note for you.
And he went to baseball camp over the summer, and there was a kid, he was on the Dodgers baseball team this year or that year that he went.
Yeah. And
he said a kid kept knocking my hat off and telling me that nobody likes the Dodgers. And I'm like, so he's coming into your space, knocking your hat off. What are you doing? Well, nothing. I'm like, okay, well, let me show you how to plant your feet.
That's right.
And what's his name? Because let me tell you how to figure out a way to make fun of it. Obviously I don't tell him. This is where my brain's going. I'm not saying these things out loud. But he is so sensitive.
Yeah.
And and Jean tells him every time we go somewhere, be kind, but don't let anybody be mean to you.
Yes.
You know, and that's what I'll tell him. Like, you're not ever going to be in trouble for standing up for yourself.
Oh, yes.
But bless his heart, he doesn't know how.
Yeah. I know.
I mean, he doesn't know
how do you teach him that?
He has such a sensitive little soul, and I obviously don't want him to be a pushover. Mm-hmm. And I tried to talk to him the other day about bullying, and that it goes two ways. People are bullies because, one, they are being bullied.
Yeah.
And they want to make someone else feel the way they do because they don't want to be alone in that.
Yeah.
So whether it's by an older sibling, a parent, another kid, something is happening and they don't want to be the only one that feels bad. So they try to make other people feel bad.
Yeah. That's
right. Or if you're bullied, you go the opposite direction and you're super nice because you don't want anybody else to feel the way that you're feeling.
That's right.
So you have to know that it's not about you. But it still sucks.
It sucks.
It still sucks for somebody to be mean to you.
100%.
And I think about that all the time when I see these kids, because to me, I'm very aware of other boys now.
Sure.
Older boys.
Yep.
And they're all a-holes.
Yeah.
Not all of them. I don't mean to say all of them, but I see a lot. Like when we go to the beach.
You see it, yeah.
And we're walking around Seaside. I mean, there's some very polite, very nice boys. Yes. I'll give you an example. The last time we were there, there's a toy store called Ducky Shop of Fun.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And they're only allowing so many people in the door.
That's right.
And so there's a group of teenage boys that have no business going into this toy store. In line ahead of us. And they have a security guard, a man that's standing there, just an old man. He has on a name badge. I think his name is like Doug or something, old manish. And this kid who looks like it should be a nice kid is like, so Doug, why are you out here doing this? And he kept touching his name tag.
Wait. The boy was touching his name tag?
Touched his name. And I was like, all I can think to myself is, I'm sure your mother is a very nice person. And that, I was about 2 seconds away from saying that until one of the other nice boys that was in the group he looked behind the group, saw me and Barrett standing there, looked down at Barrett and said to his friend, like, hey, Steve, let's go get a snow cone or something else, and pulled the rest of the boys out of the group.
Okay.
So I was very thankful for that one. And I hope Barrett is that guy and not the guy touching the name tag.
Wow.
And then I'll see people, they run around or there are people that knock over mailboxes and just boys do stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Every YouTube video that you see of somebody doing something stupid, it's a boy.
Yeah.
You don't ever see girls like getting on a garbage can lid on the roof of a house trying to scale it and skip the swimming pool and hit a slip and slide that runs into a cow pasture that turns into a snowman. Like, girls don't do that kind of stuff. No. It's all boys. Yeah. So that's what I am fearing as a parent.
That's right.
Is the boy, how do you...
And what chapter is that on about how to fix that?
Right. Where's the manual?
Where's that manual?
It just says don't do stupid stuff. You have a nice mother.
7, this is the path you need to make sure that you put your child on so they are not like the boy who is touching someone else's badge.
Right.
You want to be the one that stands up and says, hey, buddy, we're going to go and we're going to do something else.
Right.
This is not the place for us.
And then, yes. So what do you feel like is your biggest challenge for a girl mom? I'm worried about my kid being a jerk.
Well, I don't know. I think my two are so polar opposites today. Mm-hmm. Maddie is the hormonal, and I think for anybody that is raising teenagers, I hope I'm not the only one out there that is having this hormonal child where some days she is so kind and generous. Like even her being gone right now, she sent me several pictures of like what she has thought. Like she's gotten Ada Britt several things already and they've not even been gone like 12 hours technically. So I'm like, wow, that, you are such a thoughtful child, but sometimes how you communicate is terrible.
Right.
Like that attitude. And then you have Ada Britt over here that is so worried about everybody else's feelings, like she started boohooing about the poster, but then immediately was worried about my response.
Right.
And so they're so polar opposites that I'm so worried about not doing it right for both of them, like not changing my hat appropriately for the children that they are.
Yes.
Because they have to be raised differently.
Right.
Ada Britt has that tender heart. And then Maddie I have no doubt she's going to go out in the world one day and be a leader of some sort.
Right.
I feel like she'll eventually learn how to communicate to people. And once she does that, she will be that independent person that will just go.
Right.
Ada Britt, is totally different right now. And again, that can change. She's little.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I fear of not being the mom that I should be to them because they're polar opposites and I need to change how I parent both of them. And so that's a challenge. It gives me cold chills. Like, I want to do it right, but I know I'm going to get it wrong. And I hope they know.
That's it. I mean,
deep down, I love them.
Right.
And I'm not, I think for my mom who passed away, like I think I mentioned that already in 2015, and my dad, I feel like they did the best they could with me and my sister. And we probably too were polar opposites when I look back, but I think we both did well.
Right.
And so how can I glean from their parenting a little bit to my children?
And I think about that with my parents, because me and my siblings are all polar opposite.
Isn't that interesting?
I mean, all three of us. Yes. And we all grew up the same way, in the same house.
Yeah.
I'm probably one of the only people that I know whose parents are still married.
Yes. Yeah.
That, didn't get divorced.
Yeah.
So we don't come from a broken home.
Yeah, that's right.
My parents have a very interesting past. They both grew up in a children's home. That's where they met, which I feel like is just the most romantic little story. I mean, obviously probably wasn't romantic to live, but
still.
So they grew up differently.
Yeah.
They have different perspectives on life based off of where they came from, how they grew up. My dad is a lot like me, very affectionate. Needs to hug, needs to touch to communicate that he loves you.
That's right.
My mom is more of an acts of service.
Yes.
Love language. And so my siblings and all were also different because they're different.
Yes.
But we all grew up under the same roof. And so when I don't understand sometimes the struggles that my sister has or that my brother has, or they probably think same thing about me.
Yeah,
so it's so funny how different kids glean different things and take different things from their parents. And I worry about that with Barrett being an only child.
Yeah.
Because he has no sibling to bounce things off of. I tell him that all the time, that you can't be messed up. I don't have a backup kid. Like
Sarah does say that all the time.
I do it all the time. Like, because we were talking, it's Red Ribbon Week at school this week, and we were talking about drugs and why you shouldn't do drugs. And I was trying to say all the PC things about what it does to your health. And I was like, and at the end of the day, I don't have another kid, so you can't mess yourself up with drugs. Like, and I need you to think about this. Anytime you make a decision in your life, you need to think about, okay, my mom doesn't have a backup kid.
That's right.
I can't do that.
Yeah. It's about her. It's about
That's
her.
right. It's always going to be about your mother.
Mom.
Yes.
I love it. It is hard. I think this day and time is just parenting children is difficult. And probably back in the day, they would say, well, it was hard back then too. But
I'm sure.
Probably so. I think now is, we have different things that is involved with our society today that creates challenges for us. And we have to be mindful of that. Not back in the day, you didn't always have social media, and so I have to worry about my kids getting on the wrong social media platforms and looking at things that they probably shouldn't.
Even games. People creep into games.
It's so bizarre. So I didn't have to worry about that. Growing up, that wasn't a thing. Do you remember the?
You had to worry about a white van.
No,
don't take candy or get in a white van for anybody with a puppy.
No, that's right.
That's all we had to worry about as kids was don't get in. If somebody offers you candy from a van, don't take it. To this day, I still can't park next to a van that has no windows.
Because it's really bad.
Because really, it's not somebody's profession has nothing to do with I'm going to be kidnapped. I cannot park next to a van that has no windows. That was ingrained my soul.
In your soul. That's right. That's exactly right.
This is a true story. My mom and I were walking into Belk's one day, and there was someone, they were stuck in their seatbelt, and you could tell they had like a wheelchair in the back of the car. And then so I guess they would get out of the seatbelt, get their wheelchair out or whatever. Well, they had kind of fallen a little too far over.
Oh, no.
And before we helped them, in my head, I was like, this is a kidnapping scheme.
This is where Sarah's mind went.
I mean, obviously we helped the elderly individual. But I did have that split second, like, where's the van? The van's going to drive up at any time. And they're going to snatch us.
Seriously.
Where's the candy and the puppies?
Where is it at? Where's it at? But that's so true. That's so true. And today is just, it's different. I think we just have to be mindful.
And I do feel like, and I don't know, I feel like it's slightly easier for boys than girls because I feel like girls are meaner than boys.
Oh, See,
I feel like girls
see
are meaner
that.
than boys.
I feel like Ada Britt probably is not the mean one, but I feel like Maddie potentially can be. What I will say about that, I feel like in a school setting or another setting, she is very polite. And I have heard that from others. I just think, it's just, she's hormonal.
Yes.
And I'm just trying to balance the hormones. Really,
and I know
right
that
now.
I'm not there yet because we're 8.
Truly.
I'm sure that the hormones are coming anytime.
Yes. And you'll be like, oh my gosh, who are you?
Because I'm going to have to say to him out loud one day, there will be a group of girls dancing when you're at college. Do not go in the middle of them. Do not be the guy that goes
Don't do it,
presses your boner up against a group of dancing girls at college. I just don't be that guy.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do
Think
it.
Think about me. And then
he's always going to think about you, Sarah.
Think about your mother sitting at home knitting while you're in college.
She's not going to be knitting, just for the world to know.
And don't be that guy don't be that guy. Jean talks about that guy all the time. Don't be that guy. And that's what I'm trying to just raise a kind man.
Me too. I think I want to, Chad and I both have talked about this. We want to raise the kind of girls that someday a man will come in their lives and they will, grab, just totally wrap their arms around them and they feel safe.
Don't you think that Ada Britt and Barrett aren't that far apart that we could just go ahead and arrange a marriage for
probably
them?
Ada Britt is the sweetest child ever.
Yeah, I feel like we could just go ahead and set that up today.
Go ahead and set that up. Is there a paper we sign?
Because what else burns me up is people always talk about, oh, you come into my house, pick up my daughter and be cleaning my shotgun, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, Lord.
All right, Carl.
Listen,
pull a gun on Barrett Kirk.
Listen, Carl.
See what happens.
I need you to. I need you to put that back.
It's funny because I have a friend and they have one little girl. And he'll make comments all the time about, well, I feel bad for the guy that ever comes to date, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And I'm like, well, you apparently have never met a boy mom.
That's right.
Because I need you to get ready that if it's Barrett Kirk coming and picking her up I hear this type of stories, I'm going to burn your house down.
Which in reality, let's be honest, that is a boy.
Yes.
Right? So you are the boy that's coming from a boy mom.
Right.
So you need to probably go back to your mom and ask, hey, how was that?
Right. How'd that work out?
How did that work out for you?
Yeah. How'd that work out?
Or even for her in that moment. I don't even know. So I agree.
And I feel bad for their little hearts. I just want to protect them.
I do too.
And I think we're probably at that stage with Barrett and Ada Britt that we want to let them grow up because they have to. They have to mature a little bit faster in this world, unfortunately. But we still want them to be little. I don't want him to be behind by any means.
That's right.
I want him to be where he needs to be.
That's right.
Knowing about technology.
Yeah.
Knowing about what's going on in the world. But then I also want to protect that little heart as long as I can.
Oh, man.
And I hate that I'm having to teach him how to stand up for himself or what it means to be a bully and, all those things.
I do think about those kids, because we did have a bully situation last year with Ada Britt. And I thought, wow, it's so interesting having to even dabble in what would we do if. The lucky thing is that was the last week of school and we found out. So they were getting out of school.
Right.
And so, wow, talking about tugging on your heartstrings about me putting my child in an environment that was potentially taking place.
Right.
There's always two sides of the story. Somewhere in the middle is the truth.
Right.
And so I am not naive to that. So I was thankful of the timing of the year. Hey, we're getting out of school anyway. But man, thinking about that, it was hard from my mom's heart of something potentially might be happening to my child. And so what I don't ever want is my child, just like you said about B, is we want to raise our children to be kind and loving and caring. But at the same time, we also have to teach them to be a little bit of independence and stand up for yourself if you need to.
Right.
And so that's a challenge in this day, I feel like.
So maybe they can start going to jiu-jitsu with B.
B does jiu-jitsu. I did think about that.
Jiu-jitsu.
I think probably what we need to do is probably have classes. B's going to start being the teacher of that.
Oh my gosh, this is an untapped
it'll
market.
It'll be like
B.
Cobra Kai.
You could start doing elementary school jiu-jitsu for kind-hearted children.
I think that is probably the marketing piece right there.
That's what the sign is. It's like Zoolander. The Center for Kids Who Can't Read Good. This is
it. We'll get you a sign like this.
We'll get you a light-up sign that says B's Jiu-Jitsu for kids with a kind heart that need to kick ass.
That's right. B, can you handle that? I do. I think, Ada Britt's so tiny. I'm like, she needs to learn some sort of move.
Right.
You know, and B does talk about her moves sometimes. Right. I'm like, yes.
I
need to learn some of that. But my little baby does for sure.
Right.
We definitely need to know some
moves. Yes. I just need to know how to like plant your feet and dodge and then throat punch and then run away.
I do tell Chad, like, we'll get in the kitchen. Y'all know I've been watching Cobra Kai. And I feel like the wax on, wax off thing is totally my game. So like we'll be like, see, here I do it again.
You just wax off the mic.
I wax on the mic, wax off the mic. I love it. Little techniques, painting, you know, right, B?
That's probably they still do that in Cobra Kai?
Yes, 100%.
So is it like old school Karate Kid?
It is old school Karate Kid. Absolutely. You gotta check this out, Sarah.
Okay, I might try it out.
I'm telling you, you'll want to know.
Okay. All right, April, rate the cocktail.
Man, I feel like we need more numbers on our scale.
I know. I guess we could change it. We could do like a
legit.
1 to 10.
It's a 5. You know, I think there was one episode we went to a 6. So if I could,
we did the apple cider. We went to a 6.
Something about this, and I truly believe it's like the season.
Yes.
You know, like I think.
I would not want to drink this in the summer.
No, but like this season, do you like that? This is like fall in a cup. I think I said about our other cider.
Yes.
Little drink. It's so good. So if I could go to 6, I would. I'm going to go to 5.
We do it. We save it for special
occasions.
This
is our show, so we can do whatever.
That's right. We save the 6 for special occasions. But I'm going to say 5.
Woo! I love it.
I almost gave it 6, but I'm going to say 5.
What about you, B?
Ooh, you like it better than the spiked apple cider?
She's done. She's like, can we have another?
So you wanted spiked apple cider for your birthday. Do you want to change and do this for your birthday now? Okay, spiked. I feel like you could drink more of the spiked apple cider.
Yeah, 100%,
like this has a very distinct flavor. It's a little sweeter.
It is
so
sweeter.
This is probably I could be a one and done. The spiked apple cider, don't know that there would be an end point of that.
Yeah, B has a birthday coming up.
Yes, she does.
We're gonna celebrate B
for her birthday.
That's right.
All right, so I don't feel like we've gleaned any tips. Just talked about how parenting is hard.
That's right. I hope you know that parenting is hard. I think the key message is it's hard. It's not easy. Parenting is not easy. And I think probably for those that listen that maybe of greater than even 50 will look at this and be like, oh my gosh, you probably too had the challenges. They just may have been a little different than we have today. Mm-hmm. And so it's a challenge every day to parent your children. There's events that come up. There's project that comes up. There's so many extracurricular things that you have to balance and juggle. I love the mom minutes. I think that's so important to take away from this episode.
All while trying to make them be good and decent human beings.
That's right. And so it's
just an enormous amount of
pressure. You are not alone if you're struggling in the parenting world.
Yes, for sure.
We are too. And so
and if you have a
keep
book,
trying, keep doing
send it to us.
Yeah. If there's a certain chapter that we need to read, we're absolutely
that's right.
on board with that.
Don't forget to like us and share us on Facebook at Enjoy the Chaos Podcast.
That's
Follow us on YouTube. You can watch the videos. Yes. Listen on Apple and Spotify.
That's right.
And then watch out for the website launch.
Ooh, and that'll be soon.
Yes. And then the Instagram, Enjoy the Chaos Podcast _22.
That's it. Thank y'all so much.
Have a good week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.